this tribute on behalf of the good people of Savulegu and in the memory of our late sister, Haji Abuforo. Mr. Speaker, myself and Honorable Kobi met here in 2009 in this house. That was about almost 18 years ago. And for a woman to have gone through parliamentary, times, 5 good times, I think she has broken the record. I haven't heard of any woman who has broken that record. The highest so far we've had so far is this 5th timer who is Haji Abuforo. And no woman in this house has broken that record. All the women, the other end at the 3rd term or 4th term. Currently we have 4th timers who are women. Coming from the region that we all know, Mr. Speaker, as Northern region where it is more patrilineal than matrilineal, where women are not seen in the front of leadership. But Haji Abuforo has been a member of parliament for that number of years, raising all the odds, beating all the men to have won 5 consecutive times, clearly shows that it's a woman of substance. And our young ladies should learn from that of her experience. Mr. Speaker, just as my other colleagues mentioned, we've met her in this house, and she's very, very generous woman. I was fortunate to have met her because my predecessor, the late Honorable Agboche, who I took over from, was her mate when they came to this house. And so the first person he told me was when you go and look for Haji Abuforo, my classmate, at that time. So when I came, I looked for her, and because of that relationship between her and the late Agboche, I became very close to her. So just as my other colleagues, we go to her office most often, especially in those days where we have extended sitting. She's the one who is in charge of our welfare matters. Today, we don't see our honorable members, ladies, taking care of the welfare of us as Buforo used to do. Mr. Speaker, being the deputy whip at that time, her generosity cut across, and I heard my colleague from the other side mentioning, she's the one who will take care of you both in terms of chocolate and everything that you need. And also, when she became the leader of the women's wing or women parliamentarians caucus, she do take care of the women as well. And so, to some extent, we the men too, when she's sharing club those days, and we go to her office, we get our share for our wives. We've lost such a nice woman. We were thinking that she would come for the 6th term, 2027 but well, fate had its own way. Even though Haji Abuforo was old in age, when you look at her, very, very active and very, very proactive. And her memory is so sharp when you ask her questions about parliamentary proceedings and parliamentary process. She's able to tell you what to do and what not to do, more especially when it comes to your interaction with your constituent. That has been her strongest strength, that if you really want to maintain your seat and come back to this house, you need to be in touch with your constituent. She has taught almost all of us, especially those of us who came in 2009. She has taught us that, look, you need to be in touch with your constituent to make sure that you return to the house. We've lost a beautiful woman, we lost a gem, we've lost one of the astute members of parliament, and just as I want to add my voice to what my colleague Sanja Naja said, we need to immortalize her and give, if it's just one block that we can name after her, that this is on the late Honorable Haji's block in this building or in this house. That will go a long way to get our young ladies and also do what Haji Abuforo has done. With this few words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable, want to say something?
Speaker, you are contributing. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. And let me also thank Honorable Zuela for the tribute she just read. Mr. Speaker, I join colleagues to eulogize Honorable Bufuru. I entered this house in 2013. Mr. Speaker, at the time, members had no office space. So we used to hang around the foyer. You go to the mess room, you pick. You go to the mess room, you pick your document, and you'll be standing alongside the foyer reading it. So our car boots became our library and everything. Those days, her office used to be on the first floor on the new block. So every lunch time, we used to go there. She would serve us. It got to a point, I became a registered member in the office. Even if I don't go for lunch, she will send somebody to come and call me that, Honorable Richard, why are you not eating today? Whether I like it or not, I have to take whatever was available then. Mr. Speaker, if you enter my living room, I have a very beautiful picture with Heja Bufuru. And if you don't know my wife, you may suspect she's the wife. So beautiful. If my wife initially was fighting with me, because how can we? No, the way the picture is so beautiful, and how the cameraman took the picture, so beautiful, and I'm still keeping it in my living room. Now, Mr. Speaker, something happened on the floor here. At the time, Honorable Yunus Husseini was the road minister. I filed a question about Double Kunkan Road. And you know, these technical people, they provided wrong answers for the minister to come and answer. So I was so angry. At the time, we were in government. And I went after the minister, young MP. The energy was so high, like what Jerry is doing now. You've gone past this stage. So I went after the minister. After that, she accosted me here. Honorable, what did you do? Have you forgotten you're in government? Why did you embarrass the minister? And I gave her all the reasons why I did what I did. He said, don't worry, let's go to my office. Let's call Dr. Pony. We called Dr. Pony. Around 12 to 1 a.m., Opinion and Atofos, at the time he was the deputy finance minister. Richard, what happened in parliament? And I gave them the rundown. The next day, contractor was on site.
On that route?
Yes. So they asked me, what do you want? Tell us. I said, give us a unit classroom and fix a double contractor route. And as I speak, the school is sitting there and children are benefiting from it. Yeah. And the road was awarded through the intervention of Hajia Bufuru. So from there, she told me, Honorable, yes, First Deputy, if you want certain things to be done for you, don't be aggressive.
Just go and see.
Just come to me and we'll deal with it. This is Hajia for you. So, Mr. Speaker, let me join colleagues and pray that Allah should receive her soul. May Allah bless her. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Yes.
Speaker,
Briefly.
Speaker, under normal circumstances, since my colleague has made those remarks, that should be the end of the statement. But Speaker, I do not want us to end on a sad note. Speaker, it's also very important to also end on a very sweet, beautiful note. Today happens to be the 75th birthday of the former First Lady of the Republic of the Land. Speaker, she's 75 years today. Rebecca Victoria Na Okako Akufo-Addo. Speaker, 75 years. 7 scores. Yes, don't worry about it. I'm not done. Speaker, this was a woman who...
Beautiful Rebecca.
Speaker,
Beautiful Rebecca.
Madam Rebecca Victoria now Kaiko Akufo-Addo. You know, a very compassionate woman. She served effortlessly with grace and a very brilliant support of her husband. Speaker, today, if she's 75 years, it begs to say that we wish her well. We pray that she lives longer and more beautifully, so that Roxanne and I can still go and visit her when she's 90 and she's sitting at the beach somewhere in where? Not anywhere around Iran. Somewhere in Pram. Speaker, I thank you very much for indulging me.
Thank you very much. We wish Mrs. Victoria Akufo-Addo very well. But before then, honorable members, may you rise and, as usual, give 1 minute respect in prayer to Hajia Mary Salifu Bufulu. May the soul of Hajia Mary Salifu Bofolo and the soul of all departed, especially those who serve in this chamber, rest in perfect peace. Amen. Honorable members, we take the last statement, and that one I will take only one comment from each side. And the statement is coming from, yes.
I don't want this to be unidirectional. So let me join my brother, Jerry Ahmed, to wish the former First Lady a very happy 75th birthday. And we wish her all the best. Yes. She's my auntie too. And so, yes, I've said so. I mean, it's not in question. So when it is in question, they will be begging for it. Everybody knows who Auntie Rebecca is and her commitment to ensuring that those of us who serve in public service, especially those who serve with their husband, did their best. And she's still supporting the old man to be able to manage matters and affairs of state. So we wish her all the best. So on behalf of the House and leadership, we want to convey our congratulatory message to her for attaining 75 years. And we pray that God grant her more life and she grows to be 100 years so that we can celebrate that with her. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. So, Honorable Joseph Kwame Kuma, you take the last statement, and you have the floor now.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, agent called to establish a health security fund for Ghana is the title of my statement. I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to rise and speak on behalf of the good people of Kintampo North, home of one of the only 3 health research centers established by Ghana Health Service, the Kintampo Health Research Center. Mr. Speaker, in the last 30 years, Ghana has seen the outbreak of multiple diseases and has experienced myriads of man-made and natural disasters from 2020 to 2023. We have been hit with COVID-19, yellow fever, monkeypox, Marburg virus, measles outbreaks. In July 2024, the emergence of dengue fever posed a potential threat alongside a cholera outbreak affecting 5 regions of Ghana, as well as reports of increased cases of acute respiratory infections, particularly attributed to human metapneumovirus in China and the Northern Hemisphere. This demonstrates disease outbreaks, unpredictability, and capacity to inflict devastating consequences. In addition, natural disasters such as flooding, with their associated public health threats and impacts, have become nearly perennial in Ghana. Non-communicable diseases also now account for 74% of deaths, whilst road accidents led to 2,276 deaths in 2023 alone. Between January and September 2024, 1,817 lives were lost due to road accidents, representing an increase of 8.35% in fatalities compared to the same period in 2023. These statistics emphasize Ghana's health security threat and the urgent need for policies and sustainable domestic funding mechanisms to address them. These statistics underscore the health security threat to Ghana and therefore posit an urgent need for policy and sustainable domestic funding mechanism to address them. Honorable Speaker, current domestic funding for preparedness and response to public health emergencies and other health security threats is inadequate, with heavy reliance on external donor support, loans, and so on and so forth. During health emergencies, countries without a reliable domestic funding mechanism like Ghana often face severe impact and must rely on contingency funds or donor assistance, which have proven insufficient. In the light of the prevailing dynamics of global politics, particularly the United States' withdrawal from the World Health Organization and its subsequent implication, it is essential for Ghana to prepare for a decrease in external donor support related to health security. Therefore, this situation demands an increased focus on mobilizing domestic resources for health initiatives and security. For example, when COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, Ghana had to rely heavily on the benevolence of the international donor partners to be able to raise the needed funding to curb or ameliorate the situation at that time, absence of which could have had far-reaching public health consequences on the Ghanaian population. Public health threats do not only endanger life, but also far-reaching economic ratification, disrupting livelihood, deepening the poverty gap, and impending economic growth. Mr. Speaker, the National Disaster Management Organization, the coordinating body for all emergencies in the country, has in place a multi-hazard emergency preparedness and response plan, and also water sanitation and hygiene emergency preparedness and response plan. However, there is a need for more specific and targeted plan for dealing with the public emergencies and health security threats, with accompanying funding arrangement to ensure effective implementation. Mr. Speaker, this health security policy has already gained some support of civil society, the academia, and other stakeholders. I therefore urge my colleagues here to support the health security bill when it arrives in Parliament, since it will go a long way to safeguard lives and promote good health as we seek to build a better Ghana. After all, as the saying goes, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. Your support is therefore essential in ensuring that this bill is passed so that Ghana gets the resource needed to prepare for and manage health threats as when they arise. I am very grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make this statement. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. So I'm taking one each. So let me listen to Honorable Osei-Mensah first. But the comment should also be brief.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And let me commend Honorable Kwame Kuma, Member of Parliament for Kintampo North, for this timely statement on health security fund for Ghana. Mr. Speaker, as he said, the Kintampo Health Research Center is well known for its research into health services or health-related diseases. And I wonder the state of the Kintampo Health service today, if you take the services that it used to render for this country, I think the Ministry of Health needs to take particular notice and attention. With the Deputy Minister sitting right here, Member of Parliament for Iskado Ketan, please go to the Kintampo Health Service and let's see how best we can support them in their work. But Mr. Speaker, importantly, he raised the issue about funding for non-communicable diseases. If you check statistics today, smoking in Ghana has decreased because of the way and manner we tax excise duty on cigarettes in this country. So per the data that we have, that is WHO recent briefing to Health and Finance Committee, the total consumption of cigarettes, which stood at around 2.6 billion sticks in 2023, has reduced to 1.4 billion, almost 100% down in 2024. And this is because of the taxes this House imposed, both specific and ad valorem, on cigarettes. And so we have increased revenue by over 300% and yet reduced the intake of cigarettes. The data tells us that drinking, and I'm happy the chairman of health committee is around, drinking is now the biggest challenge that we are seeing in this country, with over 30% of Ghana, alcoholism, not alcoholism, but alcohol, consumption of alcohol is now a bigger challenge because about 30% of our adult population are involved in drinking. And so we need to now have a look at how best we are going to also address this issue of drinking. Mr. Speaker, funding for these diseases are very critical. In this House, we established the National Health Insurance Levy to support health facilities and health infrastructure. However, the current government have taken 20% of the health insurance funding to go and do Mahama Care without giving us any further means of improving revenue generation into the national health insurance mechanism. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we look at funding to support the health sector. Mr. Speaker, on NADMO issues that he raised, NADMO is also heavily underfunded by this particular government. If you check the budget that was read in 2025-2026, he brought the statement, please allow. If you check 2024, 2025, 2026, funding for NADMO activities has also gone down. And so it is important for the Minister of Finance to make sure that we provide adequate funding. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion to this particular statement that was ably delivered by Honorable Kumar, it is a right call. It is a right call that we look at how best we are going to provide funding to support these particular areas and health service delivery in this country. Because as he said, a healthy body is a wealthy body. That gives us a wealthy nation. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Dr. Naba.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this wonderful statement ably made by my colleague, requesting for a possible establishment of a health security policy. I think that is a good call, and I think that if he had monitored His Excellency John Dramani Mahama since he came to power, the first good thing he did in health was to launch what we call the health sovereignty. Encouraging all African leaders, his colleagues, to ensure that we actually invest in our health sector instead of depending heavily, like you said, on donor partners. As a result of that, you could realize that in last year's budget, there was funding made available for the sudden cessation of US aid to Ghana, which enabled Ghana to procure vaccines and other essential drugs that were dependent on donor contributions. That's to tell you that, yes, the country is already in motion and encouraging other countries. He invited a lot of countries to come for the launch of the health sovereignty in Ghana, Accra, last year, and this is what we are heading towards. We are no longer depending heavily, like you have mentioned, on donor funding to run our health sector. One thing that you would also notice is that we have something called the sin tax in Ghana, which is taxes that we impose on commodities that we consume that leads to development of what? Chronic diseases. And this sin tax is taken from what? Alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs that are very dangerous, and then the rest. And these taxes that some of us would propose, that when we collect these taxes, we should use it to augment the taxes that we get, the levies that we get from the National Health Insurance, at least to gear towards treating non-communicable diseases and diseases that are generated from these commodities that we consume. Some of these commodities include cigarettes, alcohol, and latest of them is the shisha, or how do they call it? Shisha. People who use shisha develop lung diseases. And I think that government should be working hard to ensure that we have a tax on shisha in Ghana to ensure that that money is kept aside to take care of people who depend on shisha for fancy lifestyles and then the rest. Another commodity that we are proposing, and some of us think that government should be taxing, is this whitening creams, these whitening lotions. Bleaching, whitening lotions, some of them contain mercury. We are all here fighting against galamsey. Meanwhile, our women want to impress us. Oh, some few men do it, I know. But generally, our women want to impress us. Look, I love the black color. It's very beautiful. Have your black color, because some of these creams that contain mercury to whitening you would give you kidney disease. Some of them contain steroids. And those steroids will affect your liver. Those steroids would affect your kidneys. And those steroids would give you hypertension. They'll give you heart diseases. So let's also put taxes on these creams or lotions that we import into Ghana to give for the women to use to bleach themselves. One other thing I will say is that even the WHO itself is now encouraging third world countries to try to find the funding sources, developing countries to try and find fundings within, to spend prudently, like JM has done, has uncapped the National Health Insurance. Yes, he has uncapped the National Health Insurance, and the money is going into the health sector to an extent that we have even gotten more money, to an extent that we've used some for the Mahama Care, which is a Ghana Medical Trust Fund.
Thank you.
In addition to that, some of the money is now even going to primary health care. That is supposed to be used to pluck the low-hanging fruits, manage the people, ensure that they know what to do to prevent themselves from getting those diseases. That will give us the burden of having to look for money for health emergencies. To this end, Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honorable members. I'm not admitting any comment again. We have spent more than 7 hours, and therefore I will proceed to adjourn the House. I will proceed to adjourn. No leadership comment. I'll proceed to adjourn the House to tomorrow 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Tomorrow 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me thank you for your indulgence. The House stands adjourned.
I mean, AI can now build a website in 90 seconds, while the only AI most people over 40 know is ChatGPT.
What should they do then?
Disappear for a month and do this instead.
Stop. Please stop using ChatGPT like it's Google. Get AI certified in 28 days and you won't recognize yourself.
So I'm over 42 and I just got AI certified in less than a month. One program changed everything. I didn't quit my job or spend thousands on courses. Instead, I joined the 28-day AI challenge.
What if I've never worked with AI before?
Perfect. This challenge is built for people over 40.
Yeah.
A simple learning routine that fits your life, not disrupts it, and the best part, you're AI certified at the end.
So when does the program start showing results?
In 1 week, you'll feel unstoppable.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, you'll have your strategy. In a month, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. Tap the screen to join us.
When you have the perfect response in your head, but your fingers just can't keep up. We've all been there. Typing, deleting, retyping. Now I use Whisperflow. I just think out loud and it creates perfect formatted text on any app or website. Whisperflow understood what I was trying to say and gave me the exact output I wanted. Check out the difference between this same sentence being dictated into Siri versus Whisperflow. Let's meet at 12 p.m. at Joe's Pizza. Wait, no, actually I can't do 12, so let's do 12:30. And instead of Joe's, let's go to Kelly's Diner. Whisperflow understood what I was trying to say and gave me the exact output I wanted. For longer texts like this email, they even formats it professionally so it's ready to go with no editing. So much faster than typing.
Whether you're writing in Gmail, ChatGPT, iMessage, WhatsApp, Slack, Cursor, or anywhere else, break free from your keyboard.
Do you know how much time you'll save if you quadruple your typing speed? Try Whisperflow for free on desktop and mobile.
Register for free. Choose from over 200,000 vehicles online. Get your car straight from the USA and Canada. Financing is available. Auction Expert, business you can trust.
Wow.
Oh,
Yasuneba, Yasuneba,